Before we do that, I just wanted to apologize to the general public that the commissioners will not be able to attend the Sheriff's Office 2014 Crime Watch kickoff this evening. And we just want to acknowledge that that is such an important celebration each year. It's the time when all of the communities come together and begin to prepare for National Night Out, which is held the second Tuesday in August. And this year they're focusing on internet safety and the hazards of social media. And certainly we all can appreciate, particularly those of us who are parents, the seriousness of that. So we're sorry that we can't be there, but we're also very happy to be here with you this evening and so that we can hear what's on your mind. This public forum was established upon our Board of Commissioners taking office. We did this because we believe it's important to open up the Commissioners' meeting once a month to hear what's on the mind of our citizens. And some of you, I know, probably saw when you checked in the Civility Code. Our Code of Civility was established so that we can create an environment where everyone has an opportunity to say what's on their mind, but to do so in a way that's respectful, that isn't accusatory, that doesn't embarrass or in any way that it's not harming the reputation or feelings of others. And so this evening I ask you particularly to be cognizant of that. I think I've covered everything. The point of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that you certainly can have your say, but you have to be very careful not to attack anyone or to do any kind of name calling. They're the things, and I know you all, as I said, saw it when you checked in, so we appreciate your cooperation. And normally what I'll do is I'll call 3 names so that everyone's always in the queue and ready to come up next. So our first speaker is William Johnson, second is Katie Lee, and third, Michael Lucchese. Good evening, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Madam President, Commissioners. There's a saying, a billion here, a billion there, and pretty soon you're talking real money. Fortunately for Charles County, our problem is millions instead of billions. A $6 million deficit, and we're going to cover over $4.5 million with budget cuts, real money. The brunt of those cuts will be felt by the Board of Education and the Sheriff's Office, the county's 2 largest budget items. Before any cuts are made to our children's education and our law enforcement, I'd like to see some reprioritizing. There are some county assets that can be sold and the proceeds used to offset a portion of the budget cuts. The county assets are 4 SUVs purchased by the previous Board of Commissioners with our taxes. Those 2-ton gas-guzzling monuments to that board's contempt for the taxpayer are still employed by the county today, although most of that board is not. I understand that only 2 members of this board choose to use a taxpayer-owned, taxpayer-fueled take-home SUV. I further understand that only one of those 2 currently does so, and the other SUV has been returned to the county for a period to be determined. An item 60% of this board has done without, and 80% is now doing without, including our sole full-time commissioner, does nothing to promote the efficiency of this government. It's not a necessity, it's a luxury. Taxpayers shouldn't be forced to pay for officials' luxuries, just job necessities, and this luxury sends messages to taxpayers. Nothing says protection of natural resources quite like driving around Charles County in a taxpayer-owned, taxpayer-fueled take-home SUV. Nothing says commitment to addressing poverty in our rural areas quite like driving out there in a taxpayer-owned, taxpayer-fueled take-home SUV. Nothing says commitment to transparency quite like claiming GPS records of a taxpayer-owned, taxpayer-fueled take-home SUV's whereabouts are personnel records exempt from public scrutiny. Transparency doesn't apply when the windows are tinted, I guess. I'm still not sure how one can have an expectation of privacy in the whereabouts of 2 tons of county property operated in plain view on public roads, but I digress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. Frederick Douglass. Therefore, I demand that you sell the SUVs and use the proceeds to offset cuts in education and law enforcement. That said, the leader I'm waiting for wouldn't need a demand before she or he did the right thing. I am waiting. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson.